Welcome to Boosting You, the ultimate wellness platform. And I'm Shirley McLean.
And I'm Dr. Sue Peacock.
And today, our boost is all about how to spot when you're running on empty and what to do about it. So, Sue, have you ever noticed how people often realize that they're burnt out after the crash?
Absolutely, all the time, isn't it? It's like we've almost normalized exhaustion to the point that we only recognize it, don't we, when we're actually flat out on the sofa wondering why we're weeping over a burnt bit of toast.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there in one way or another. And you know what? I often see people don't think they're allowed to be tired,
Mm.
especially caregivers, therapists, teachers, those who hold space for others. They really do sometimes miss the early signs.
Oh, they absolutely do, don't they? You know, that they're so absolutely brilliant about being kind of fine on the surface, even when our tanks have been empty for days or weeks, you know. I sometimes call it functional burnout because
Mm.
you're technically functioning, but you're kind of one flat tire away from emotional collapse.
Yeah, and that's such a good way of putting it, isn't it? So let's talk about the early signs. What are your go-tos?
Well, I think, and we'll probably all smile at this because irritability is quite a big one, isn't it? You know, you find yourself perhaps snapping at small things, slow drivers, people that don't pull away from the traffic lights quick enough, or even things like, you know, somebody chewing too loudly, you know, all of those annoying little things that they can be quite often red flags for us, can't they? Not because of them as such, but because our nervous system is overloaded.
Oh, and you know what, Sue? I imagine with yours, it takes a long time and a lot of those chewings and a lot of those red flags for you to get there because you're just one of the most chilled out people I know. But totally, mine's forgetfulness. When I start losing words or I can't remember what, I walked in the kitchen for, I know I'm running on fumes.
Yeah, and that's that kind of that sort of brain fog kind of feeling, isn't it? And we sometimes brush it off as it's aging or it's stress, but it's actually your brain saying, "Please slow down. I need a breather."
Absolutely. And then there's what I call compassion fatigue. You still care, but you can't access the caring. You go numb. And if you're somebody who's usually nurturing, that can be really confronting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real big biggie, isn't it, for health professionals? You know, I see a lot of those type of people because when empathy sort of becomes effort, it's a huge warning sign, isn't it? And I often say, you know, if you feel that you've got nothing left to give, it's because you've been giving without replenishing what you need.
Right. So once we spot the signs, what people do about it.
Well, I think the first thing, acknowledge it without shame. Because running on empty doesn't mean that you failed. It means you're human. It means that you've probably been kind of over functioning for too long.
Yeah. And it's not always about doing more. Sometimes the answer is doing less.
Yeah.
One of my clients recently told me she cut down her evening screen time by 30 minutes and just sat quietly with a cup of tea. And within just a week, she felt so much more grounded.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it? And that's the power of those sort of micro rests, isn't it? Just stepping off life's treadmill just for a moment.
Mm.
I often suggest to people just start with noticing. You know, tune into their bodies. Are they
Mm.
clenching their jaw? Are they holding their breath? You know, little signs like that, and that kind of awareness just can lead to that sort of conscious release, can't it?
Yeah, I love that. And I sometimes use a traffic light check-in with clients. So green means that they're balanced, amber means that they're pushing, red means stop now. Just asking, what colour am I today? Gives them that clearer sense of when to pause.
Oh, that's just a brilliant idea, isn't it? You know, it makes it so visual, doesn't it? And helps people sort of connect the dots between their kind of emotions and their behaviours.
And of course, I always suggest a simple breathing technique like the 4-6 method. So breathe in for 4 and out for 6. And it just cues that parasympathetic nervous system, just like turning a switch, that lovely rest and digest mode.
Yeah, it's so gentle, isn't it? But so powerful, isn't it? And don't people just underestimate how effective it is? You know, I also recommend that people introduce sort of small joys into the day. You know, a song they love, 5 minutes in the garden, a proper good laugh with a good friend.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Pleasure is restorative, isn't it? Even just permission to just do something for yourself can start to refill the tank.
Yeah, and as you say, Shirley, I think it's really important, isn't it, to know that it's okay to ask for help. You know, if you're consistently exhausted or emotionally drained, then do talk to somebody, whether it's a therapist or even a trusted friend. Just talk to somebody.
Definitely, because you don't have to wait for a crisis to change course. Prevention. We always say this all the time from my pharmacy days. Prevention is better than cure. Prevention is kinder than cure. And self-care isn't selfish, it's essential maintenance.
Exactly. You know, we wouldn't let our cars run out of oil and then blame it for breaking down, would we? So, you know, we don't want people to be waiting till their systems crash to care for themselves.
So, to anyone listening, check your warning lights, notice the tension, the tiredness, the withdrawal, and take even a tiny action today to give something back to yourself.
Absolutely, because you do actually matter. You're not a machine, and a well rested, nourished version of you is so much better for everybody, but mostly you.
Amen to that. So let's keep reminding people you don't need to hit rock bottom before you refill the tank.
Absolutely, Shirley. And I think I might even go for a walk after this because we need to practice what we preach.
Me too. Mine will be up and down the stairs, maybe, or maybe a cup of tea if the sun comes out again, because it's not out. We've had a couple of great weeks, but it's not at the minute. So
Oh,
here's to filling up before we run dry. And for now, it's bye from me.
it's bye from me.